Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Play Field of Glory Empires as Pontus, episode number 2. In the last episode, we expanded. We did take this territory to the south, which is fantastic. We've only completed 3 turns, so this is the 4th turn. I kind of want to take a step back at the beginning of every episode and kind of see how the world's doing, so we can have a snapshot of everyone else's progression. So far, Rome is actually still on the same 3 problems. I mean, we kind of expect that the rate of change over in the western area of Europe will probably be a little bit less than the rate of change, for example, in the Middle East over here. And the Seleucids and Antigonids are already duking it out. I don't know exactly where the Antigonid-Seleucid border starts at, but to me it already feels like the Antigonids are starting to lose, and that is the expected outcome, I guess. I also want to mention, since I could not remember, I think I called it General Ptolemy or whatever. The general I was trying to reference in episode 1 was Pompey. And in my brain, they're like so close because they both start with a P. They both end in a Y. Ptolemy is probably the reason. I mean, the Ptolemy Empire is probably how I joined that association. Anyway, so that was the Third Servile War. I actually looked it up. I was like, what is the name of it? Is it the War of Spartacus? Because it's kind of how it's known thanks to the movie. But no, it's officially called the Third Servile War. Anyway, down to Pontus. So, what's our mission right now? Well, let's first start and recap as well the fact that we have gained 2 progress tokens, which is fantastic. Really, we're doing a lot better than my stream. We'll put it that way. Now, as far as legacy points go, we've gained 3, and that's mostly because we're holding an objective. Excuse me. So we're holding our capital, which is an objective. That's what everyone is going to be doing right now. Most people are holding their own capital, which is usually an objective. And then of the various objectives the Senate or people have offered to us, or essentially what it would be beneficial for us to take, Libya is Hellenic independent. It's obviously a very, very natural choice for us. Bosporus, it's kind of interesting. They are actually Hellenic up here. I didn't even know that until I clicked on their place, apparently. And they have very low population, which is, a negative if you're trying to build up a great empire. But the fact that they're Hellenic makes them surprisingly a choice for invasion or somehow incorporation into the Pontic Empire. So, what happened at the end of last turn to this one? Well, we got Libya as a new objective, so that's very convenient because that is one of the places I wanted to go. We'll move our military back to the capital, and I think what we'll do is go ahead and recruit 2 new units if it's I'm not sure if it's possible for us to get both. We want to get another thing of Pontic archers, and then can we get them? Yeah, we'll get both. So this will be the last 2 military units I build for probably a very long time. I'm assuming that those 2, bringing us up to a total of 10, should be enough for us to take Libya. Now, fair warning, this is a mountain, mountainous terrain. In the stream, attacked this and I failed. Now, I think that going with the Pontic archers is going to help us a bit. So as we can see, the regular infantry, I think that they have some penalty, they're just regular infantry, so they should have some penalty in the mountain terrain. Point is, the the Pontic archers are mountain men, so they actually get a bonus in the mountains. That's obviously going to be very beneficial if we're going up against this. So hopefully that bonus pays dividends and, helps us to defeat this nation, or this independent, I guess it would be like a city-state, this independent region. We have the Crafter District, which we are currently building in Amnius. I might as well start referring to these regions by their name. In Polemia, we're continuing our work on the public works, and we're trying to balance, of course, this very difficult balance to achieve between population growth and building more buildings. So we're strongly emphasizing the infrastructure side of things in Amnius, but we do want to focus on some growth. That's mainly because Polemia is at 3 out of 5 building slots, and Amnius is at 2 out of 5. Now that'll be at 3 out of 5 each because the Public Works doesn't take up a building slot as soon as these are both complete. Unfortunately, down here in Phoenicia, we only have the one building which we just completed this turn. So there it is. Shepherd House was completed. It's really nice that wool happens to be a trade good that we were importing. And instead of importing it from wherever we were before, now we import it internally, which obviously means that we don't have to worry about money. So, the -6 well, I guess 2 of the cost is to import wool, and 4 of it is to import the hemp. So hemp is in the long-term scheme of things, another thing that we're going to want to develop ourselves. So one thing that we can get out of here as well, if we look at the building options, is salt mine. Now salt is really important. A lot of things are going to use it. There is a crafter district available here, which I think is pretty interesting. Wheelmaker getting more infrastructure, especially for a region which has no infrastructure whatsoever. That would be beneficial as well. However, I think I'm just going to go with the salt mine because it gives us more food, helps this place grow. It actually already has a population of 4, which is, only 1 less than my other cities, so it's not too bad. But yeah, we're just going to go with the salt mine because I think it'll be the most beneficial in the end. And we're staged to grow in 8 turns. I might add another slave over here. I can't remember where exactly in the order of things are we. 21, yeah. So I don't want to take anybody out of culture quite yet, because I mean, as soon as we hit Glorious Empire, I'm completely okay to drop down to the middle tier, even sporadically to the bottom tier, just as long as we don't accrue too many aging tokens. But getting up, got my little drink here. Getting up to the glorious token glorious status is going to give us a lot of benefits, including culture conversion, which is going to benefit us a lot if we end up taking the Caucasians here. Now, again, I still don't know how the slaves work versus the citizens, other than they work hard in the food and infrastructure, and they don't work very well at all in money and culture. But I don't know how to convert them or whatever. So we'll just rely on our people to conquer that territory, and then we'll see what happens as far as what we can do with those Caucasian slaves, because they are making the ethnicity of this place Caucasian. The only good news is there is clear water over there, so there's a health bonus existing over there to begin with. So that said, I don't think there's anything else we want to do for this turn. I could waffle back and forth on whether to get another regular infantry or just 2 Pontic archers directly. Yeah, so I could get 2 Pontic archers directly. It's kind of a tough call. Their regular infantry are better in a fight generally, but in the mountainous terrain, maybe not. The Pontic archers are going to be very expensive, so that's not as good. So let's see. I think what we're going to do is go with the Pontic archer and the regular infantry. So we'll have a frontage of 6 combat type troops, and then 2 archers, 2 Lydian archers, 2 Pontic archers for support in the back lines. So that's a total of 10. I think it's a good combination. So that's the progress token, and we'll end the turn. I think. Always want to double check. I don't think we want to do any manipulation of the different places. Growing in 16 turns is pretty slow. We can't take anybody else out of the food there. And we could take one more person. We're already it's gonna take a while for that one to grow. They're lending a lot of help to infrastructure, so that's good. And I think this is fine. Yeah, okay. So we're still growing. We're growing in 18 turns in that new province. Region. So not growing very quickly, but still having 4 population, and we're building currently a new food structure. So it's very food heavy. It's not, I'm very glad we didn't manipulate it all the what is it called? The culture stuff. So we barely stayed in the top tier. Didn't benefit us with another progress token quite yet, but we got pretty lucky with that the first episode, so I'm also not disappointed too much that we didn't get one yet. I'm sure that in time we'll get those last few. So let's merge these two armies. I think I'll wait one more turn because... yeah, this one archer is... huh. I think the stars are the experience. So effectiveness is actually all okay. I don't want to wait for the Antigonids to go here. By the way, let's... oh, so the Antigonids actually repelled the Seleucids here, but let's... the furthest west the Seleucids are is Mygdonia. Let's mark that in our heads mentally. Okay, Rome has expanded. Just want to mark that in my head so I can use this as a point of reference for how the battle is going in general. And in the south, the Antigonids... oh, the Phoenicians are... huh. I've never... is this a new people? Phoenicians? Did they splinter off from someone? I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so Vitos feels that Phanagoria is a new objective. Okay, so we have another... well, I think that was already an objective, wasn't it? Oh no, before it was Pantacepium, or Pantacapium. And now another from Bospius has been added. Well, it's not going to help our ability to be friends with the Bosporans. We'll deal with that at another time, though. That's a little bit in the future. So let's just check our buildings. I think everything looks pretty okay. 4 and 4. And I don't know whether to go this turn or not. So with the size of 6, a width of 6 in the mountains, I think we will go with one extra unit. One more Pontic archers if we can afford it. 60. Yeah, we're going to have very little money, but I think this is important just to back up one other person. It's just going to give us more support. So I hope, and also it means that if we get into battle, if the first battle is a draw, it's less likely that we're going to lose the second one. Even if we lose a few people, we'll still be completely filling out the frontage for any follow-up attacks. Okay, so we'll end the turn. We'll wait one more turn before we invade, and that'll be that. Colchis, by the way, our neighbor over here, is 2 provinces or 2 regions wide. I gotta normalize my nomenclature. To me, it's just the most natural thing is to call these provinces. Okay, we're staying neutral at 20. No new progress tokens yet. Samnium has done very well for itself, gotten 4 progress tokens so far. So it looks like I spent a lot of my good luck apparently on the first episode. We'll see if it... I mean, it's actually not very usual for me to have good luck at all. I think it is time for us to move in at this point. I think so. Okay, let's move in. And that'll be the last state or whatever territory in the province. The last region in the province. I still don't know what these are supposed to be called. I'm going to fight over it forever, and I'm sure that there'll be comments pouring in. I haven't actually released episode 1 yet. I'm trying to record a few before we release the series to buy me a little bit of leeway. So I'll get those comments probably. I imagine I'm going to release after I've recorded episode 3, probably the first 3 episodes. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but if you're new to the channel, I do respond to pretty much every comment, and I definitely read everyone very carefully. So please feel free to comment about anything, and know that I will see it. It's just a respect thing. I think that if you put in the time to write a comment, I should put in the time to read it. Okay, not much to do. I think we just keep pressing end turn for now. This could go... I mean, this is a big moment for us. I was even debating whether or not I should export this battle. Let's see how it looks for us. So it's 11 versus 9. They have a combat power of 22, which is actually pretty good. We do have an advantage in that we have an extra dice roll, but I've seen that not help me at all before. Meaning, rolling 2 dice poorly does not help. if you roll them both poorly, which I remember this one incident, I needed to win this little engagement, and I rolled a 3 and a 5 where they only had one die roll and they rolled a 10. So obviously rolling a 3 and a 5, it doesn't matter. 3 versus 5 versus even like 6 probably is just not going to get anything done versus a 10. I think it might be a little bit too early in the game, and this is not a big enough battle. I mean, it is pretty important for us to take this, but I would say it's not a big enough battle for us to export it. So let's just do our first combat. So you can see we're really smashed in here. The frontage is apparently 5, not... Darn it. Apparently the frontage is 5, not 6. So terrain defense of 2 is going to show... We'll see that. Let's see how we do with the ranged thing. We did really well with the ranged thing, but let's just... this +2 bonus is going to be very painful. You can see that we have a 3 combat bonus, 3 combat rating, so our regular infantry. They have the +2 support. We only have a +1 support because for some reason our war chariots kicked out our Pontic archers. Considering that it should be optimizing, I don't understand why it decided to put the war chariots there. I don't understand that at all. We'll probably lose a regular infantry or 2, but as long as we don't lose, and it looks like it's impossible for us to lose the war chariots since they'll be going up... Oh! They'll be going against Pontic archers. Well, that's interesting. That's maybe not good. Anyways, let's see how our die rolls work. So, it's a loss for us. They didn't die at least, but... so we rolled 2 5s and they rolled a 4. It's about as average as you can get, really. So it didn't influence the outcome very much. Now, we have an advantage here. That's because of the exhausted stat and the fact that our Pontic archers are adding +3 for support. If we had had the +2 additional one, this last one would have been a stalemate, and they would have lost just as equally the same amount. There's one token which is your effectiveness, and then one token which is one stat which is your health. We lost one of each. If it had been an even die roll, which we lost by 2, and that 2 was essentially the Pontic archers versus the war chariots as a support group. If it had been the Pontic archers, we had that +2 back, it would be an even number. And if you roll an even number, each person loses 1 effectiveness and 1 hit point. So, if you only win by 1, they just lose by 1 effectiveness. But if you tie, both people lose 1 effectiveness and 1 hit point. So it's kind of a big deal. I like that though. Kind of, in my opinion, it abstracts a really close... a really close battle ends up being the bloodiest because nobody retreats. It's like, keep fighting to the last man to know who will actually become or like show themselves superior. So this is my luck at work. Well, it's way too early. Law of large numbers, right? This is way too early to be poo-pooing the RNG, but we did get very unlucky there. Obviously, we rolled 2 numbers, and this is the same thing as what I was saying before. I rolled a 3 and a 5. They rolled a 10. It's the same kind of thing. So this ends up being a battle we should have won. We ended up just stalemating. Again, not working out. We really have to make up some ground on these last 2 for this to be a draw even. And we did. So this is good. We just absolutely crushed them. So just as they were rolling really high, they finally rolled really low. We're still rolling very, within 1 standard deviation. What is standard deviation? Like 1.5? So we're really close to standard deviation of... within 1 standard deviation, so we're rolling very normal. Okay, another one for us, please. Well, we still ended up winning. This should be a draw. And it is. So the good news is we actually defeated one of their units, and that means that in a follow-up, they will have 1 less unit to contest us. So the battle should continue, and it does. Now it's 11 units versus 8 instead of 9. Their combat power is 12, our combat power is 51. Unfortunately, we didn't lose somebody. Why do I say that's unfortunate? Because I'd rather have my Pontic archers supporting than the chariots, and the chariots probably are still going to be supporting. Oh, no. The injured regular infantry got pulled out, so this is wonderful. We should actually do really well here. I don't think it's worth to go through the each detailed thing, so we'll just let this one run at speed. Okay, they did exhaust one of us, but okay, we won the first one. This is a good start. Destroyed them. This is to be expected. We're up by 4 as a prediction, and now when it doesn't matter as much, our rolls are really coming true, and obviously we take the territory without losing anyone. This is the perfect result. So obviously, a lot of our guys were injured, but they can recover over time. Whether or not independent groups, armies survive or not, doesn't matter, because you take the territory and anybody who survives is eliminated anyway. So it's just completely irrelevant. We'll keep our army there to try to act as... I think that we're going to have... Oh, we got a progress token. Good. So we did lose one position. I saw this orange and got worried, but no, we actually got a progress token. Why do we have 4 progress tokens? Well, you get a progress token for taking an objective. So, as we took an objective, we get a progress token. I'm sure that'll all be explained here. So, first of all, our armies marched on Clibia and conquered the region. Very good. So now we have this new region. We'll look into that in a moment. The objective was taken. Hooray. We get a progress token. So that's what it should have said there. In the reign of Vedos, objective region Clibia has pledged allegiance to Pontus plus 1 progress token. Next, we have our Rito Vedos decide that Tarika is a new objective. Wow. It really wants us to move north. They're just pushing us that way. And the kind of nice thing is, this is the way the game forces more of a historical outcome. If it was just some more sandboxy, they wouldn't give you objectives in kind of hand-tailored regions. Pontic Empire eventually did expand up here, right? So it's very historically, it's kind of like shoehorning us into a historical development. I like that. So I can also see why people wouldn't like it. Maybe it would be nice if there was an option to choose which one you wanted to do. Anyway, we're not actually gaining a whole ton of decadence, so I guess this ethnicity is only taking into account the citizens. Because I was expecting a lot of decadence. Now, they have famine. Well, that's going to be solved very quickly. It's just these Caucasian slaves. I don't know how to get rid of them, or just, what do you do? Famine, just conquered, and it was raided? Oh, well, that's not good. Anyway, we'll prioritize... What? So this guy's actually doing 0. He does nothing. If I could kill him, I would. But, population of 5 is meaningless if the workers aren't working. So what we'll have to do is shift this guy from culture, which is going to give us 0 anyway. Commerce penalty, culture penalty, 100%. So we're just barely going to struggle to get food. In fact, what we're going to have to do is put everyone into that, and we're still not going to have food. Okay, so we already import wool, but unfortunately there's no way. I think that this will go away. I don't actually know how to solve this problem. I think we're just going to lose some people. Now, hopefully we can choose to lose this useless slave that is not doing anything for us. This region is suffering from famine, leading to a lower loyalty toward the nation and possible loss of population. When the food production is sufficient to feed everyone, this penalty will be removed. Well, unfortunately, that it's not going to happen this turn. Is it because of my army? Let's find out where this food's going. So 10 base food, which is enough for all of us. Minus 75% modifiers. 50%, and it's because it was rated. Did I rate it? I don't think I rated it. Who the hell rated it? Well, that ended up being very unfortunate. So for 3 turns, we're just gonna have a terrible time. Let me move this guy here. It's not really gonna help us. I just don't want negative infrastructure. So I don't want this. 2 turns for an anchorage. Actually, that is nice. Let's do that, because it's something that we can do pretty quickly, and it's not going to help us in terms of food, but I was going to say let's reshuffle, but this has no negatives. It doesn't take up a slot, and it takes us the same amount of time, so kind of a no-brainer. And I want to recycle this shepherd house into something else. Flax would be really nice, since we know we need that in the middle area. We can't get it yet. So it doesn't say that we need food for our army here. -3 overall production. 5 net change after provincial food. Provincial food distribution. So we can actually, I think, force more food over there by growing more food in these other places instead. So this is at 3 right now. I think that these guys... Oh, so let's move this guy here. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So this is a little bit more food. Does that solve our problem? Still -3 balls. I wish the provincial food distribution would be more more friendly to a starving place. Okay, 5, 4, 5, 5. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so we'll leave him here. That's obviously going to impact the amount of time it takes for us to build stuff. This is now down to 3, but you know what? It's fine as long as we get enough food, and that didn't help at all. I don't know why. So I'm going to move this guy back to food just because the infrastructure -1, well, this is all part of the province. So the amount of infrastructure for one place is not a big deal. The more important question is, yeah, and then takes this back down to 4, but that's still fine. The more important question is infrastructure. So after provincial distribution, I suppose that it says growth in 11 turns now. I guess it would be not growing if it wasn't getting enough food. So we'll assume that that's going to be okay. We still have a little bit more time before the salt mine's complete. Kind of a lot of accumulated decadence here. So this is, I think, a great candidate for the Praetors, whatever. The one that has minus decadence per turn. Anyway, we'll end the turn because we don't have anything else to do for now. Very good. Probably will move this army after the loyalty dies down a bit. Disloyalty, I should say. We'll move that back over to probably our bottom new province. I do want some palisades in time. Just barely... Oh! What do you know? We got another progress token, and now we're glorious. Well, that's going to help a lot. Also, our legacy, we're getting, I think, +2 legacy points. Oh, +3 a turn now because we own 2 objectives. And you get +1 for what? Oh, actually, it's 3 controlled objectives. So under the rule of Vetos, Pontus has been reformed and is now known as the Glorious Monarchy of Pontus. Even though Vetos is just kind of this useless character, I mean, useless leader, I mean, he's not helping us in any way. I guess he's not really hurting us as much as he could. There's, you know, worse rulers out there. So just conquered and raided for 2 more turns. So as soon as these modifiers go away, we'll be okay. It should be happening soon. So the food here, it says -5, 7 net change after provincial food distribution, which means 0 stockpile. Okay. That's, so it is, I guess it is taking food from other places to keep her afloat, and that's fine. All we need to do is survive 3 more turns, 2 more turns even. After 2 more turns, that food penalty of 25% will probably already make the difference. It's just the growing pains of getting a new place and 0.67. Okay, so now the what does a glorious nation do for us? The modifiers. Good stuff mostly. Loyalty bonus of 15. Legacy gain increased by 35%. So I think that this is... I think it is 2 objectives that we've conquered plus 33%, which is 2 2/3, which is rounded to 3. So that explains it. Why we only have +2 in theory, but this glorious nation is now giving us a 35%, or yeah, actually a 35% increase. So it's actually 2.7. Unfortunately, now decadence gain is further increased by 35%. And I've mentioned this several times, but this is such a great spring dampening parameter. The mechanic here is that as you get glorious, decadence is easier for you. So it kind of pushes you back down to normal. Now, once you're normal, you lose this additional growth. So in theory, it allows you to, it dampens your decline. Just as it dampens your growth, it should dampen your decline. So I think it's really good mechanic. I think that they've really got some working, something working well here. Okay, let's move on. Let's play a little bit faster, because I don't think there's much we need to do. Next few months will be particularly harsh for men and crops. I guess that means that the food growth will not be as good. But I think that's all we need to look at. There's basically nothing we need to do. I'm going to leave this army here just because the disloyalty, it will help. So you can see revolt risk, but the change from martial law, 1.38, so that's nice, right? And we don't have disloyalty anywhere else. In fact, our people are very loyal, which is good. Okay, let's end the turn. Now I don't really care as much about the... So, like, you can stop working in culture. Maybe go to... This is essentially... I mean, I could put them directly in food, but putting them here is essentially putting them in food because we get the salt mine faster. Likewise, I think I'll leave one person at least on culture still. And we can spread more people out as soon as we get by this little famine crisis. Turn 8! Hooray! It's been 30 minutes already, man. I gotta pick it up. Let's try to get to turn 12. I know that sounds like a lot to cover very quickly. Oh my gosh, we got an aging token just like that. That was not not good. It's only a 35% chance, so I mean, maybe the... So one thing I've long considered doing, it would be a little bit... So only a 30% chance. I had a 35% chance for progression token, but 30% chance for an aging token. One thing I really considered doing, and I honestly, it'd be almost a little bit cheating to do it now. Not really, but this is one thing I've considered doing, is slower progress and decadence. If checked, the chance to get a progress or decadence token is halved, except from events. Also, on gaining or losing an objective, there's only a 50% chance to gain or lose a token. So we've already gained two... No, sorry, we've only gained one objective. So if we want to do this, it's good to do it now, nice and early. I feel like it's not too bad. I do like the slower growth. I mean, but I'm already glorious. Well, it turns out Paphlagonia is really giving it to the Antigonans this time, and actually it looks like Mygdonia here as our reference, that the Antigonans are the ones who are taking it to the Seleucids. I don't think that that'll be something which remains for long, but let's see what happened. The health has degraded to fair. That's by all means a good thing in my opinion. We have new generals. Okay, that's right. So one of the things the glorious thing does is increase your leader pool by 3, I think. Yeah, leader force pool bonus +3. It's the 4th line. Reduction on experience needed to level up, which is fantastic, and conversion bonus of 10%. Increases bit by 10%. So now we have 3 new generals. One of them 0-0, one of them 0-1. One of them at least is a 1-1. And we received this agent token. That's a negative, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to turn that on quite yet. I'm not going to turn on the whatever it's called, the decreased aging and all that. Let me know in your... since it's not something I need to decide on right away, just let me know in the comments if you think it's a good idea or not. It does seem like 5 years, or let's say 10 years, is even kind of a little bit fast for Empire to be swinging so wildly one way or another. But maybe, actually, okay, 10 years is still a long time, so maybe it's okay. Anyway, I think that we're still all good. By the way, music-wise, I decreased the volume from the first episode. This is actually intentionally different. For the very next episode, episode 3, I'll probably record with no sound at all. I mean, no music, I should say. The sound, the clicking, all those little clicks are going to be there. But I wanted to just kind of... The music is repetitive. There's only one soundtrack that I know of, so that's why I'm thinking of turning it off. Especially if you've already watched somebody else's playthrough. I don't know if you'll want to keep hearing the same music. Okay, so let's end the turn. Surprisingly, no decisions yet. I had like 10 decisions by this point in my stream. So I'm not sure where all those decisions went. With the Paphlagonia... Oh, good lord, we are still struggling here. That is surprising to me, really. But we can solve it. We'll just move somebody back into culture. So this is the turn where everything should be better now. Yeah, we still have the Just Conquered modifier, but we're at least back to 0. Decadence is not doing too bad. So let's move one other person back. Over here, take the +6. Might as well do this as well. It's only one more turn, so there's no reason to waste. It's still one turn, so that's perfect. I'm not sure, maybe I can, if I move this one here and then that one there, it's still one turn. That's okay. I probably prefer more food over a little bit of money. We're doing okay on money anyway. So that's a lot more culture. I'm sure that's going to move us out of the bottom tier, the aging tier. And then next turn we'll actually be able to do more stuff with Calibia. And it's also going to get an anchorage. Oh yeah, things are really looking up, I'd say. Just as we ended the first video on a very positive note, I feel like we're going to end this one on a good note as well. So 4 territories sounds good to me. I mean, we've doubled our size in 10 years. Let's go another turn since we don't have anything else really to do. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Disloyalty is still high enough that I'll leave my army there. Should go away in one more turn. So essentially now. And I'm pretty... Oh, wow. Colchis, the nation above us. You can see they've just taken a new... It's hard to move the mouse, but right there, they've taken a new territory. With Paphlagonia... Oh, wow. We actually just barely emerged. We're the last nation not considered aging. So that was much closer than I expected. Legacy points, by the way, just a note about them. They're like the victory points. So, as it says here, legacy points are the measure on which your success or failure will be judged at the end of the game. So good that we did all those changes to just barely make it. Alani is asking for a form of cooperation on various aspects, including trade and intelligence. I'm very likely to agree. And they're at war with Colchis, which is, I mean, that's a real benefit. Let's agree with this. We need friends. Potential friends. And the Alani are pretty big. Now the downside, well, I guess this is a downside for both of them. They're both Caucasian, right? Boy, it just doesn't sound right. Those stupid Caucasians, but this is just the cards were dealt in this game. Anchorage has been completed, so this now should be a more tenable situation. It looks like it is. We can probably move somebody into infrastructure without breaking everything. Yes. Oh, hallelujah. Okay, so what will we do next? Fortune teller is nice. Loyalty bonus, money. Doesn't really give us any culture, and I think I would like culture. Blacksmith is a great one. Gives you benefit in every way. Only downside is it's relatively expensive in terms of infrastructure, upkeep of 2. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, oh, infrastructure is actually 1, and I don't understand why it's... See, -2 for upkeep, +5 for iron. The math should be 3. I don't understand why it's actually only 1. But it gives us money, metal, and infrastructure. It's a lot of everything good. Our metal situation is not a problem at all, and I don't expect it'll be a problem for a while. Ooh, getting palisades is actually really interesting. We only have 5 building slots to work with, but protecting our easternmost flank is a good thing. We don't, I think, have a stud yet either. Yeah, so there's so many good choices here. What I'm going to do is, well, okay, let's try to really quickly choose. How many building choices do I have to choose? Okay, well, this is fine. Hemp, we do need hemp. Tavern, that just gives us money and a loyalty bonus, but we need wine, which we have to trade for. Furnace, costs money, infrastructure, that's not good. Public works is always a safe thing to do, so it's either hemp or public works, in my opinion. This one's really nice, but it takes... Oh yeah, it needs cattle, and that's definitely something we want to build ourselves at some point, but I don't like to import it. So, let's just go with public works, which is going to be, you know, all around a good thing. And although I would like to get hemp. Oh, we do need hemp. Okay, let's do it. We're going with the hemp. This place is going to grow very quickly. You are going to build... I don't know whether stud, blacksmith. There's so many good choices. Let's see. The other things we could get are ranch, flax field, vineyard. I would love vineyard. Eventually we do need a stud so we can get some horses going, but I really like blacksmith here. I really like palisade. It might be a little bit too early to do palisade, so let's just do blacksmith, bite the bullet. And let's end the turn. So salt mine's completed. That's good. Everything's looking up. Let's try to end the turn real fast. Just get one more turn done so I can end on turn 12. And we'll try to pick up the pace in the next episode. So I'm going to bring this episode to a close as soon as we complete this turn. Did push beyond the 40 minute mark, which is... It's okay. In general, my channel, the videos do go around 40 minutes. But I was trying to keep them a little bit lower for this. We actually did drop down to the very bottom, just inside. We didn't get an aging token, but that's something we're going to have to address. But we'll do that in the next episode. So, for now, thanks for watching. And I'll catch you back for the next episode. Ooh, Iberia. What? Iberia? That's a different place. I see. We'll accept this as well. Why not? Well, okay, justice system. We can look at these decisions, I guess, next time. Raise loyalty or quell unrest. I think we do want to quell unrest, but that's available for 12 turns, so we don't need to choose it right away. And yeah, we're regressing, but it's a temporary thing again. So, with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you back for episode 3. Until then, take care.